money is there, and if these owners are smart with it, I could definitely see more WNBA players going overseas and possibly not returning.
Well, minus the 4 times I lost to Kate, pretty good, but it was fun. Obviously, getting to live out your dream and do it at the highest level is pretty cool.
What's worth more than $5 million? For Caitlin Clark, it's the roar of the crowd at Kinnick Stadium. It's the love of her teammates. It's home. But here's the thing. She almost gave it all up. The contract was signed, sealed, and ready to deliver her to European stardom. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. So, why did she stay? What made her choose cornfields over castles? The answer isn't just about basketball. It's about loyalty, family, and making choices that define who you are. And let me tell you, Caitlin's choice? It's rewriting the playbook on what it means to be a star athlete. Picture this. Caitlin Clark's sitting in a fancy European office, surrounded by sleek furniture and floor-to-ceiling windows. There's a contract on the table in front of her, and it's got more zeros than you can count. We're talking $10 million, folks. That's not just pocket change, it's life-changing money. But this deal? It's not just about the cash. It's VIP treatment all the way. Luxury apartments with views that'll make your jaw drop. Personal chefs whipping up gourmet meals. And get this, they're offering her the chance to be the face of European basketball. Billboards with her face plastered all over major cities. Fans chanting her name in packed arenas across the continent. It's the kind of opportunity most players only dream about. You'd think Caitlin would be over the moon, right? But something's not sitting right with her. As she's staring at that contract, her mind keeps drifting back to Iowa. She's thinking about her teammates, the ones who've had her back through thick and thin. She's remembering those packed arenas back home, where every fan knows her name and treats her like family. Clark's not just weighing cash here, she's weighing memories. The late-night practice sessions, the bus rides filled with laughter, the feeling of stepping onto the court in front of a sea of black and gold. It's more than just basketball, it's a part of who she is. Let's break it down for a second. European leagues offer way more money than the WNBA. We're talking 3x, 4x, sometimes even 5x the salary.
We can't wait till Saturday.
What was the offer, official offer to Caitlin?
It was 2 years, $5 million.
For most players, it's a no-brainer. You go where the money is, right? But for Clark, it's not that simple. Here's the kicker. For Caitlin Clark, Iowa isn't just a place on a map, it's home. It's where she became a star, where she set records, where she inspired a whole generation of young ballers. Walking away from that? It's like leaving a piece of yourself behind. So what made Caitlin Clark walk away from a $10 million European deal? It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the fame. It was about something you can't put a price tag on: loyalty. It was about looking at that contract and realizing that no amount of zeros could replace the feeling of playing for your home crowd.
I feel like there could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer.
You won't believe what happened next. Clark's about to make a choice that'll shock everyone. She pushed that contract aside, stood up, and walked out of that fancy office. She chose packed college arenas over European stadiums. She chose familiar faces over new adventures. She chose home. And let me tell you, that decision, it sent shockwaves through the basketball world. People couldn't believe it. A player turning down millions to stay loyal to their college team? That's not something you see every day. But that's Caitlin Clark for you.
On one, and just be home, be in market, and be able to be, in a market that isn't a W team, but continue to grow the game and grow brands.
Always keeping us on our toes, always doing the unexpected. And this decision, it's just the beginning of an even bigger story. But hold up, we're not done with the twists and turns. You know how sometimes life throws you a curveball when you least expect it? Well, Caitlin Clark's about to step up to the plate for the biggest swing of her career. And it all starts with a phone call that's about to turn her world upside down. Imagine you're Caitlin Clark. You're sitting in that fancy European office, pen hovering over a contract that could change your life forever. Then, out of nowhere, your phone starts buzzing. It's Iowa calling, and they've got something big planned. They want you back for a special event at Kinnick Stadium. Just like that, everything changes. Clark's torn. On one hand, there's Europe calling with millions of dollars and a chance to be a global superstar.
Money is there, and if these owners are smart with it, I could definitely see more WNBA players going overseas and possibly not returning.
On the other, there's Iowa, pulling at her heartstrings with memories of packed arenas and teammates who feel more like family. It's not just a decision about basketball anymore. It's about who she is and where she belongs. So, what does Clark do? She hops on a plane back to Iowa, thinking it's just for a quick visit. But the moment she steps off that plane, she realizes this is way bigger than she thought.
We believe her coming into the Big Three would be such a big deal.
The energy in the air is electric. It's like the whole state's been holding its breath, waiting for her to come home. As Clark walks into Kinnick Stadium, she's hit with a wall of black and gold. Thousands of fans are there, decked out in Iowa colors, holding signs with her name and number. But it's not just the fans. Her old teammates are there too. Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, all the girls who've been through thick and thin with her. And there's her coach, Lisa Bluter, beaming with pride.
Well, minus the 4 times I lost to Kate, pretty good. But it was fun. Obviously, getting to live out your dream and do it at that highest level is pretty cool.
Caitlin is a great teammate. And if she wasn't a great teammate, it might be hard. If she was walked around like she was the star, she doesn't walk around like that.
Clark's not just seeing fans anymore. She's seeing family. She's seeing the friends who stayed up late with her, practicing shots long after everyone else had gone home. She's seeing the community that rallied around her, cheered for her, believed in her even when the odds were stacked against them. And you know what? In that moment, something clicks for Clark. She realizes that what she has here in Iowa, you can't buy that with any amount of money. You can't replicate that feeling of belonging, of being part of something bigger than yourself.
Look at what the WNBA has earned over the past years and the entirety of the WNBA. The numbers actually make sense.
But here's the kicker. That European contracts deadline is still ticking. Clark's got to make a decision, and fast. Does she go for the glory and the paycheck in Europe? Or does she stay true to her roots and stick with Iowa? In the end, it all comes down to those 24 hours at Kinnick Stadium. Surrounded by the people who've been there from the beginning, Clark makes a choice that sends ripples through the basketball world. She decides to stay, to turn down millions and stick with her Iowa family. It's a decision that shocks everyone. I mean, who turns down that kind of money? But for Clark, it's not about the cash. It's about loyalty. It's about being true to yourself and the people who've always had your back. And let me tell you, that decision, it's not just changing Clark's life, it's changing the way we think about success in sports. Sometimes the biggest wins don't come with a paycheck, they come from the heart. So here's the deal with Caitlin Clark. Her decision wasn't just about hoops. It was about redefining what success means in sports. We're talking about a player who could have cashed in big time, but instead chose something you can't put a price tag on: loyalty. And get this, since Clark started balling for the Hawkeyes, there's been a 30% jump in girls playing youth basketball in Iowa.
And Clark, the rest of our Iowa team back on campus, celebrating their accomplishment.
That, all boats would rise and the league would benefit from the attention.
That's not just changing the game, that's changing lives. Clark's choice is making waves beyond Iowa. It's got people rethinking what matters in sports. Maybe it's not all about the fattest paycheck. Maybe it's about the connections, the community, the feeling of home. This isn't the end of Clark's story. It's just the beginning. And the best part? It's all happening right where it started, in Iowa. Clark's not just playing basketball, she's writing her own playbook on what it means to be a true sports hero.